Alright, hello everyone, here we're back. I wanted to go over this golden shot tutorial. I do not have this on my channel previously, so wanted to make sure that I add this content in for the medium hole here. This is Sakura Hills, and it's a relatively easy hole. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I'm just going to kind of go over the method more than anything. What I typically do is long iron plus about 20%, 25%. Definitely an overplay. You shoot down to a lower target, so you're going to see some extra carry. What I'll typically do is basically play it off the fairway here. What I'll typically do in tour play is I'll use between maybe 1 and 2 backspin, but I usually have extended ball guide. So when I don't have that extended ball guide, what you're going to see is I'm actually going to kind of up that backspin just to create just a little bit more control. And another thing I'll be able to use is I'll be able to use my third hop to kind of set up close to the bullseye rings to be able to, use that as kind of a guide as to how much rollout I'm going to get. Another thing that you'll want to be thinking about is wind effect. But here you can see my wind is going to be between 3 and 5 miles per hour, which would typically mean I'm going to go between 2 and 3 rings. Now, what I'm going to pretty much crank that up to is I'll probably go just very few times. I might go 2.5 rings. And as much as, say, maybe 4.5, 5 rings, depending on, is it straight in the face? Is it, a side wind? If it's just a side wind, I'm just going to use maybe about plus 25%. But if it's straight into the face, for example, which means you're going to be lengthening the club and creating more wind resistance, I might go as much as, say, plus 50% on the over adjustment. So instead of 3, maybe I'll go 5. So just something to be thinking about. You always want to be thinking about wind effect. With this golden shot, just keep your ring adjustments in between there and you should be good to go. So let's take a look here. So what I'll typically try to do, as I mentioned, maybe 2 backspin, and what I'm going to do for a side wind, maybe almost 3 for a side wind. If I get a tailwind, I'll try to use maybe even closer to 4. So you can see with where I'm setting up and, with how much rollout I'm also setting up for. And you can see that this tree is going to be kind of a thing. So, as I mentioned, going to do an overplay here. I'm going to go right about 3 rings. Perfect ball. Here you can see it's running out, almost able to get it. So you'll see that it's going to be very straightforward, easy, and that's the reason I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, because I'd really like to get to the, some bonus shots for this account. I really don't feel like spending, more money than I have to. Nothing that I receive comes from Playdemic. So every time that I add content, I have to, whether it's using balls, it's coming from my funds. Similarly with golden shots, it's coming from my funds for your guys' tutorials. So let's go ahead. We're going to pick this up, and I am going to do, one more round of 5 for you guys here. And here you can see that the wind gets up a little bit higher, which is going to change my spin just a little bit. I'm only going to use maybe as much as 2 backspin in this scenario because it's so much into the wind. And you can see that I'm setting up my guide kind of similarly to where it's going to run out, potentially go towards the hole. And I'm going to do kind of an overplay again, as I mentioned. 4 wind. I'm going to go almost 4 rings, to be honest with you. So 3.5 rings somewhere in which is a severe overplay. But it's because it's kind of straight into the face, and you won't get the proper run out if you don't add on to your adjustment. So here you can see it's running out. Again, another good speed shot to where I gave it a chance, and it just came up just a little bit short. So you can see with what I'm doing towards my control, it looks like I'm getting kind of a slight tailwind here, so I'll probably do this one, and I'll just end this guide. I mean, you can see overall the method And you can see that it's not really going to be overcomplicated. Just do your over adjustment and you should be good to go. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of offset a little bit, and I'll go a little bit more towards 4 in this scenario. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow me to have just a little bit more control. And I'm going to crank up that side spin just a little bit more. And you can see how I have the kind of the ball guide offset intentionally. That's because the wind is going to push it just a little bit more. So almost, 3.5 rings here. Let's take a look. And it looks like just coming up a little bit short. So if I would have just been a little bit more aggressive with where I put that, but I do like that spin control. So you could see how slow it was kind of rolling in. And you could see with my offset how I was kind of using the hill. I would have given it a chance had it just landed just a little bit farther. So I just needed to kind of set up my initial aim just a 1/4 ring more. Would have given me a really good chance. Now I'm going to just skip this. You can kind of see the method. I think that's really all you need. I got you a side wind, I got you a tailwind, and I got you a headwind there, case on those shots. And you can see the little modifications to the spin, and you can also see that little slight hill pushing the ball towards the right. So let me jump over to the hard hole just to give you guys some bonus shots, and also hopefully to get me something that I might actually be able to use. The Berserkers is something that I'm very light on. I've never played Masters with this account. So I'm assuming, a lot of you guys may be in the same boat. I did already put this guide out for you guys. So if you want to check out that video, highly recommend doing so. And here you can see with what I'm going to do, I'm going to land kind of right towards here. And we're going to put some curl on, and we're going to also overplay on this hole. So if you haven't seen my guide, definitely check that out. You can see I'm going to go close to 4 rings in this scenario here. That's my first great ball today. I'm assuming it's pretty much going to take me out of this one. Well, if I could have snuck in and got that red ring, I would have took it. But let's hope I can still get it anyway. And there you can see I did get the Spitfire, so that's one of the reasons that I wanted to come over here, plus for the Berserkers. So here you can see an 8 wind. I'm kind of on the fence as to how to play this, whether to go this way or whether to go that way. We're going to go this way, but keep in mind you're going to have to kind of back off the curl just a little bit of what you might typically do. So here you can see right around 1 on my backspin. I'm going to go in the neighborhood of maybe just a little bit more than 5 rings. And actually this is still max. Oh, crap. But I hit a great ball. So I would imagine that this is actually going to get to the other side of the hole now. So all of a sudden I just started great balling out of nowhere after about 10 or so perfect balls in a row. And of course, all my clubs have been good. And I really could have used those extra chests. Okay, so here we have a wind that's kind of straight into the face. What I'm going to try to do here is take off the spin that you've been seeing me play. Try to go with no spin. And try to land right around here at kind of the highest. You'll see that it, all their points kind of deflected. You can't really add distance. So I'll just try to stay at the crest of this hill. And in terms of my ring adjustment, I'm going to go just a shade more than 5 again. And same with curl-wise, we're going to go relatively max. Back to a perfect. Let's see if I can't get a half-decent playthrough here. Just outside, so it's very hard to get that back going that way. I've been having a lot of trouble. You almost, you really make sure that the wind is pointed that way if you're going to go for that shot. But let's see if I can't sneak in and get this last one. Do watch my golden shot tutorial. I had a pretty good playthrough on my first attempt doing this. And what you can do on this is you won't have to, you won't really have to curl this one. You can just kind of change your spot a little bit. So that's more or less what I'm going to do here. And I'm looking somewhere almost towards 4 rings as my adjustment. I'm going to just put this straight in the center, right around 3 backspin. Perfect ball. And just not quite enough. So you can see, you know, that hill is very tough to play. Would have been nice to sneak in that red chest, but just not meant to be. Now, I did get the amber and the crimson in my other playthrough, so do check out that video. It would have been nice to pick up just a little bit something extra here. Just wasn't meant to be. So good luck with those holes, guys, and you know, hopefully you guys get the cards you're looking for. Catch you guys on the next one.